Warren, it's always a pleasure evaluating your speeches. I love Warren. He's one of our OG Toastmasters. He can give a lecture, he can give a funny speech, he can give a tear-wrenching speech story. He's great. The one thing I liked in the beginning of your speech was you called out your fumble. Sometimes when we trip or we do something coming to stage, that starts shutting us down into anxiety, like, oh my God, I messed up. Where Warren laughed at it and said, I fumbled, so he's calm going into his speech. So keep in mind, mistakes are okay. Don't shrink from them. Work through them like Warren did. Your introduction and imagery were amazing. They were cohesive. You brought us from the transition of imagine you are. So he included us right from the beginning. We're smart, we're executives, we're fighting for power and money. But then he transitioned to include the rest of us and said, if you're not that person, use it with your family. That is a pro move when you're giving a speech, especially a lecture type speech, especially if it's technical information. You don't want to exclude those who are not technical or not in that department. You need to have a thread that involves everybody in the room. So well done, Warren. Conflict is a collision of concerns. I love this. Yeah. Sometimes we're so worried about conflict and the conflict in our bodies when we're giving the speech and the conflict of saying the right word. Wouldn't it just be nice if we could lighten that up and say, I'm concerned about giving a good experience to my audience. I'm concerned about using the right words. And I think with the eloquence of Warren's voice, and he takes his time to alliterate, that collision of concern just rung in my mind of, why don't we just have some grace with that and do a well job with that? It reminded me of that quote, begin with the end in mind, right? So we all go into these meetings, someone else gives you the agenda, and you're like, oh my God, I'm the finance guy, and they don't like that I'm going to tell them about money, right? So we start thinking about the agenda that was given to us. But Warren brought up a great point about the North Star. Even if you're not the meeting leader, go into it with something that you can connect everybody to. Why does Warren want all the money for finance? Connect everybody into that. So that was a great learning point in that speech to make sure that the North Star concept is not just for the agenda holder or the speaker, it's for you going into the meeting as well. At least that's what I took from it. Warren, you had great intensity. Remember when he came over to the side and boom, 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 started telling us about the rules? One thing for your consideration, I think you gave this point to Teresa, is you were kind of stuck in one position for a really long time. You did move to the side and bring up that intensity, but it would be great if you don't want to have your back to people and walk into the room. You can start back further back and then just come up and make sure that everybody's looking at you, but you're using your whole stage. We don't want to get planted in and just talking to the first two people. We want everyone in the room to see us and feel like we're pulling them into the story. Again, your closing was pro. He went through the rules again. He recapped it for us. He gave us examples of how we could do it better. It was just fantastic. Thank you for your speech, Warren.